Hello, my name is Michael Sheen and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about my connection with Dewis. I suppose it began really when I came back to Port Talbot at the beginning of this year, 2011, as part of the preparatory work that I was doing for the Passion project, the Passion of Port Talbot, that we did at Easter of 2011. It was a continuous, non-stop, 72-hour production, contemporary production of the Passion, involving over 2,000 people from within the Port Talbot community, and took place all over the town, performed by the town, for the town and with the town. It was an extraordinary experience, and one of the things that made it such an extraordinary experience was being able to get involved with every single area of the community of Port Talbot. Port Talbot is somewhere where people say that there's not a lot going on, and the work that I was doing, getting involved with different organisations and groups and charities and organisations like Dewis, was a real eye-opener. I think part of why people feel like there's not a lot going on, because the work that a lot of these organisations do is so unobtrusive. It's about enabling and empowering the people that they work with rather than imposing anything on them. And I was certainly struck by that with Dewis. Working with young people, helping them find accommodation when they come out of the system that they've been in for a long time, whether that's in homes of other people with a room there, or whether it's in individual accommodation in flats, and hopefully in the end moving on to finding their own accommodation. I was very struck by the work that Dewis was doing, and I was very pleased to be invited to come and meet some of the young people and see the accommodation they were in and talk to them about their experiences. And this was facilitated really through the digital storytelling project that was produced by Spill Media and paid for by the Arts Council of Wales through Neath Port Talbot Community Arts. I got to spend an entire day with the young people who were involved in making the film, and it was a fantastic experience. It was one whereby I was able to share a little bit of my experience of what I do, but also where I got to learn as well, and also enjoy hearing their stories and hearing about their experiences. And probably more than anything, to enjoy seeing how much they were enjoying getting involved in the filming and the storytelling. And now to be able to see the film all put together is just fantastic. It's such a great piece of work, and I think it really expresses the enthusiasm and the creativity of everyone involved. So it was a fantastic day, and I think when you see this film, you'll agree that it was a really terrific project, and a very enjoyable one. I certainly loved watching it when it was all done. So I hope you enjoy it, and it's been a great pleasure to be involved. Thank you. I could never live without my... What could we really not live without?
The one thing I couldn't live without would be my skateboard. Without it I feel unsatisfied, like something's missing. It's a great comfort to me when I'm feeling stressed, and I feel a great sense of relief when I use it. My skateboard is so important to my life. It is useful for me to get around. It is my mode of transport. It brings a smile to my face, making me happy when I land a hard trick that I've been trying to do for ages. I got into skating when I was young, watching someone pull off a big trick. I told my father about this amazing thing I'd seen, and he asked if I wanted my own skateboard. From that moment, where I went, my board went too. I worked hard to achieve every trick I could do, flips, stalls and grabs. No matter how much I fell, I kept getting back up. It was like life sometimes.
The thing I could not live without is Final Fantasy VII, which is a PS1 game. The item has come in useful when I was younger, and I felt angry. The game would calm me down and make me happy. It is the one connection I have with my dad, as we both really enjoy playing the game together. The game still makes me happy when I play it, even 10 years later, because it reminds me of the good times which I used to have with my dad.
I couldn't live without my jewellery and family photos because they are simply irreplaceable. They bring good memories of the past, which makes me feel happy and comforts me when I feel down. My jewellery and photos are useful to me when I'm not feeling myself, and when I'm upset and annoyed. They are the best images that I have. They have so much meaning to me. I like to use the photos as decorations, so I know the images are always in sight. bringing me happiness, knowing they are there. 2 years ago, my auntie passed the family photos on to me because I always kept on to my grandpa that I would look after them, just as he had. I love looking through the photos, as it makes me happy looking through the images of my nan and my grandpa, and when I used to live with them.
If I could have only one thing, one item, I'd have to take my keyboard. It is the one thing that helps me output and relax. It makes me feel so happy when I'm stressed. I can just get lost and make my own sound. Music is so important to me. The songs on my iPod help me relax, motivate or inspire me. Having a keyboard gives me the same happiness. My keyboard was a Christmas present, bought for me when I was 15 years old. The reason it's such an important thing in my life is because it helps me output my creativity, helps me relax. At times when I've been angry, it's helped me calm down. It's never protected me, but it's helped me take my mind off things and allowed me to isolate myself and people in times of need.
I have lots of things that mean so much to me. Family photos, my jewellery, my clothes. But the one thing that means the most to me is my bag. It makes me feel so happy and unique, as there are only 3 in the world. It makes me feel amazing, and if I lost it, I'd be lost myself. I couldn't live without my bag, because it holds all the things I use most, and all my personal things are in my bag. When I first saw it at the boutique, I knew I had to have it. I was told there was only 3 I ever made. It makes me feel so unique.
This is Dewis, a charitable organisation working in the Neath Pottalbert County Borough with young people aged 16 to 25 who are homeless or potentially homeless. To some of the young people, Dewis is an organisation they could not live without. Some of the key services include supported accommodation and a supported lodging scheme. In English, Dewis means choice, and this is what they aim to offer the young people that they work with. I've come back to my hometown, Port Talbot, to meet some of the young people that use Dewis. I'd heard about the films they were making and was curious to hear more and talk about their experiences.
What is your passion?
What is my passion? Well, my passion, I suppose, has been acting. You know, when I was growing up here in Port Talbot, first of all, I wanted to be a football player. I used to play for Bagwood Boys Football Club, and then when I was 12, we went on holiday to Pontins on the Isle of Wight with my family, and there was a very famous footballer, Tony Adams, and his father. But Tony Adams was only about 15 then, but his father were on holiday there, and they watched me play football, and they ended up being offered a place at Arsenal on the youth team at Arsenal. But I was only 12, so my dad said, "You can't go." So I can't. But I was in youth theatre then. Within about another year, I started the West Wogan Youth Theatre. And that was when it really took off. That's when I started to get a passion for acting, I suppose.
How did you get into acting coming from Port Talbot?
I got into acting as a sort of an escape. It was something I enjoyed doing, and it was something like I could get away from everything else in my life from, I suppose, that I didn't like so much. And slowly over time, acting has become something that has brought me back to my life. Like now, doing the Passion Project here, it's all about everything in my life, you know, and the place where I grew up and the people of the town and all that. So it sort of brought me full circle in a way, that my passion for acting has brought me back to a passion for the town and the life and my upbringing, my past.
What do you think has changed most about Port Talbot since you was here last?
Port Talbot still has a lot of its character, even though things have changed, like Beach Hill going. You know, like growing up, Beach Hill was such a famous thing in the town. You know, you'd go over Beach Hill and you'd always say, "Oh, it's that bit where your tummy goes a bit funny as you drive over in the car." And then to see Beach Hill gone is like really upsetting. It's like seeing your footsteps being washed away on the beach, you know. And like Glenavon Comprehensive School, where I went to, doesn't have a drama department anymore. So if I was in school now, I'd never become an actor because there's no drama department there. The West Wogan Youth Theatre that I joined is, you know, no one's really funding that anymore as much. So there's always a danger that things disappear, and that's why I've realised that the way things are, like supporting things, and you can kind of take it for granted that certain things will always be there, you know, and you realise they're not. You have to kind of fight for them. You have to stand up for the things that you really want to keep and to say they're important. So that's another reason why the Passion Project is such an important one for me, because it's about saying this is our town, and before it changes too much more again, look, this is what it's like, and these are the things that are really important about it, and these are the things that we need to support and get behind and shout out about, because otherwise people will take them off us. And some things are good, you know, developing and bringing more money into the area and creating more opportunities for people through building new things is great. But at the same time, you can lose a lot of what makes a town special, you know, those things that really matter to us. So we've got to kind of all get together and say, look, this is worth keeping, and this is worth fighting for and standing up for.
What do you feel about the plaza going?
The plaza, I remember when the plaza was, you know, still up and running, and I remember going down there before they split it into lots of different screens, and it was just one big screen in there. I remember going down on, after I left school and before I went away to drama school, I remember going in there on like a Thursday afternoon and watching Rocky 5 or something on my own in the cinema, just having the entire cinema to myself, and that was great. But you can't keep a cinema going like that, you know. But I've always wanted to do something with the plaza because I think it's such a fantastic building. It looks so great. Yeah, if I had the money, I would. And unfortunately, I don't have that much money. But I'd love the idea of the plaza becoming something like an art centre, or you know, places in it that like a little cafe and a restaurant and a rehearsal room and an art gallery and maybe a museum to Port Talbot and the people who've come from here. And maybe still put a little screen in there and a little theatre or something. It'd be brilliant to have something like that. So we'll see.
What one thing could you not live without?
I will say the one thing I couldn't live without is this town. I couldn't live without being able to come back to Port Talbot and being able to think about Port Talbot, and I always get a bit emotional when I talk about the town. But I think that would be the thing I couldn't live without. Yeah. After talking with the young people, I wanted to go along and see them at the place where they call home, to get a feel of the surroundings that inspires them,
It was the worst part.
where their passion comes from. Whose puppy is it, Luke? The picture. Your god dog. That's a long time ago. That wasn't even comprehensive school. That was junior
When I
school.
was 10 in school with Mead, and I was like, I'm going to tell him.
Good God.
Yeah.
What is Arthur Thomas up to now?
He's a mechanic and an electrician.
Right, okay. Still in Port Talbot, obviously.
Yeah, he lives.
Hello. It's all right if you come in. It's lovely. Who are these people here? Your Nana and Grandpa? And who are these people in these pictures?
Me and my sister, the little ones.
That's you and your sister there? People
Yeah.
in a big house and stuff. And then eventually, the first time I lived on my own, I kept expecting someone to come in all the time, or come and tell me off, put my feet up on the table or something, and no one does. It's great. Do whatever you want, go to bed whatever time you want, get up whatever time you want. It's great. So you've got quite a nice view, haven't you? You can see the sea from here. You could say it's a sea view.
Can we get a job in doing this? Can we get a job in doing this?
Oh, there we are.
It was great. Yeah, it was really good.
I'd moved from Bristol to Bridgend to be close to my to Port Talbot to be close to my family.
Something you weren't anticipating or expecting.
Well, how lovely young people are, you know, mainly, and that without exception, everybody who's come to stay here, I've enjoyed their company, and you know, and I really feel they've got something out of it, but so have, you know, I have and my family has as well. I thought, well, that's a nice, I know when he's home.
Great. Hello, Owen, how are you? Oh, wow, that's great. Brilliant. You can see Blanco's from here as well. We spend a lot of time at Blanco's.
Oh, right.
We're not in a room, we just sit in the cafe.
Yeah. Blanco's and Remo's. It's about, wow.
Someone's doing that one, I wasn't there.